Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Since it is now February, and we have a special romantic holiday during this month, I plan on making a few videos based on awful romantic media as a kind of celebration, let's say. If you did not read the title or see the thumbnail, this video is going to be based on the film series After. Without further ado, on with the review. After is a 3-part film series that spanned from 2019 to 2021 that was based on a 2014 book series by a woman named Anna Todd. The book series, might I add, was originally an AU One Direction fanfiction with Harry Styles as the love interest that was published on Wattpad back in 2013. Yes, we're going into this kind of territory today, guys. The structure of this video will unfold like this. I will give a brief summary of all of the key elements of each film, and then divulge into why I think this series overall is absolutely terrifying. Just as a preface though, I have not read the books or the original fanfiction, so I don't know how accurate the films are to their source material. However, and correct me if I'm wrong, from what I've heard, the only things that have changed are some details to make the films more PG-13 and Hardin way more forgivable, I guess. The original After movie centers around our female lead, Tessa Young, starting her first year of college, or university to us in the UK. She arrives with her mother and high school boyfriend Noah, who is in the year below her, and she meets her new roommate Steph and her girlfriend Tristan, who is really pretty, just saying. There's this bloody weird scene where Tessa has a shower, and our version of Harry Styles, or Hardin Scott, is just there in the room.
Can you please go out into the hall so I can get dressed?
Don't flatter yourself. I'm not looking.
Okay, that was fun. But why is he there? It's not your room, bro. Mind your business, man. Tessa goes to a party with Steph, where she properly meets Hardin and plays Truth or Dare, and whoop-de-whoop, she's a virgin, oh no. They dare her to kiss Hardin, she says no. In class, they debate over love and stuff, so he can't stay away from her and they go to a lake. They kiss there and it's really dramatic, blah blah blah. Okay, I'll stop guys, but this is really painful. She tells Hardin she wants to tell Noah about their affair, but he says that she shouldn't do it on his account because he doesn't date. Red flags all over the place, girl. Take this warning and leave while you can. He's made his stance clear. Noah conveniently surprises Tessa at college and goes to a bonfire party with her, clearly making Hardin uncomfortable. Make up your mind, man. What do you want? They play this game that I've never heard of, where they pass a card from mouth to mouth, and Noah gets defensive when one of the guys fails to pass the card to Tessa. This triggers Hardin to start a physical fight with the guy, which is definitely concerning. This ain't normal healthy behavior, man.
I'm not gagging.
Noah stays the night with Tessa, but she goes to check on Hardin, who has smashed up his house in a drunken rage. Tessa goes to comfort him, which is all well and good, but this man needs therapy and I don't see a doctor title in front of your name. Noah finds out about the affair, is heartbroken, poor little guy, and Tessa's mum threatens to cut her off financially if she continues to see Hardin. I understand her upset, and I can see some parents responding like this, but I think your daughter could possibly be in danger here, so if she didn't listen, I wouldn't recommend reacting like this. Hardin buys an apartment for them to live together in, and later reveals that his father was actually a drunk who provoked some guys at a pub when he was a child. They ended up assaulting Hardin's mother as revenge because his father wasn't there. So we have yet another bad trope. Childhood tragedy to excuse for bad behavior. They have a slow dance and then have some very PG-13 sex. It's not very interesting. Tessa then discovers that at the party from the beginning of the film, Hardin was there to begin a relationship with her before kicking her to the curb. He tries to convince her that he started to develop genuine feelings for her after getting to know her, to no avail. So, on to the next mess in this series. It's 1 month after Tessa and Hardin's breakup, and Hardin is brooding and sad, while Tessa starts her first day as an intern at a publishing company. She has an awkward encounter with a co-worker named Trevor, who I think is played by one of the Sprouse twins. I don't know Disney stars too well. He's pretty though, and is a really nice character. Why couldn't Tessa end up with him? At a nightclub on a business trip, Tessa and Trevor impress a businessman who is thinking of investing in their company. Tessa, surprise surprise, gets drunk and calls Hardin, which makes him want to find her. He seems actually concerned about her here, which is a good thing I suppose, but it doesn't excuse anything else he does. Tessa and Trevor go back to a hotel room to just talk, but Tessa spills a drink on him and makes him strip to clean his clothes, and Hardin walks in, causing Trevor to leave for fear of needing to have his jaw wired.
Hey.
Hey, Hardin, good to see you. How you been? Fucking Trevor! Gotta go, I think.
Tessa and Hardin then argue, and it's all very immature. Of course, they have angry make-up adult time, causing them to regret their decision to break up. Tessa returns to the apartment her and Hardin used to share in order to gather the rest of her things, and Hardin's mother Trish arrives, but assumes Tessa and Hardin are still together. Trish reveals more detail about the incident from Hardin's childhood, that the people who attacked her were people Hardin's father owed money. She also later tells Tessa that she has cured Hardin's PTSD, which is so dodgy. Even if it's somewhat true, that responsibility should not be handed to Tessa. That's not fair. Tessa visits her mother for her birthday, but her mother and Noah accidentally reveal that Tessa's estranged father came looking for her, and feeling betrayed, she decides to rekindle her relationship with Hardin. At Christmas, Hardin gets angry at a party held by his father, gets drunk, and attacks his father in a blind rage. Can someone get this man a specialist already?
I'm not going to entertain drama, chaos, confusion, and madness.
Tessa talks to Trevor about this, who warns her that a relationship with someone who behaves like this will only end in tears. Good man, he knows what he's talking about. Listen to him, Tessa. Tessa and Hardin go to a party, and Tessa mistakes Hardin apologizing to a girl for a previous fling for an admission of infidelity. She kisses someone else in front of Hardin and they argue. This kind of thing happens a few more times and they decide to continue dating for some reason. Okay, so there's this homeless guy sprinkled throughout the film, and at the end of this one he's revealed to be Tessa's father, but it's more of a tiny side plot in this film, so I didn't mention it before. The final film opens with Tessa and Hardin having invited Tessa's father into their apartment. Hardin is suspicious of him and even offers him money to leave, but her father insists that he is only there to make amends. Tessa then also plans on moving to Seattle to be closer to her employer, which causes trouble with Hardin, who intended on moving to London with Tessa after he graduates. Wait, graduates? How far away will that be? Didn't you just start uni a few months ago? Hardin and Tessa's dad go to a bar where this weird guy starts making inappropriate comments over photos of Tessa, so naturally the pair bond over beating the crap out of him. Hardin introduces Tessa to an old friend, Lily, after they come across her, and Tessa becomes jealous of the seemingly close friendship between the two. However, Lily later reveals to Tessa that she's actually a lesbian, so has no interest in Hardin whatsoever. Also, Hardin gets pissed about Tessa asking about food recommendations from the waiter.
Yeah, love carbs. We have a squid spaghetti.
It was lovely to see you and to meet you guys, but I'll have to go, so.
Too fancy. How about we whip you up something special?
Tessa and Hardin have an argument because when asked, Tessa admits she did briefly have feelings for Trevor while they were separated. She moves to Seattle, and Hardin finds her diary, where she describes all of the emotional turmoil she has been through during her relationship with Hardin. Feeling remorse for his actions, Hardin takes up boxing as an outlet for his emotional problems, and reconciles with Tessa. He later tells her that he plans on moving to Seattle in a few months. Hardin attends his mother's wedding in London, and the night before the marriage he catches his mother and Tessa's boss Vance engaged in an uncompromising position, leading to an altercation between the three. It's then revealed that Vance is Hardin's biological father, and the film ends? Someone get this bunch on Jerry Springer! A thing to note about these films is that the first one is rated PG-13, implying it's intended for young teens, whereas the latter two have an R rating, which is why the sexual elements of the story are rather lacking in comparison between the films. If it wasn't clear enough, I found these films extremely tasteless due to their shockingly high use of tired and arguably dangerous tropes from romance stories. Everyone in this story seems incredibly immature and one-dimensional, with the exception of maybe Noah. The bad boy trope is written atrociously, and when I first heard about this series, I assumed it was because the author was originally very young when she first wrote it. Boy was I wrong. She was 24 years old when she started working on it, a grown adult. This is very concerning to me, as the relationships in this seem really unhealthy. Other than what's blatantly obvious, everyone seems to have a really bad relationship with their family. For example, Tessa's mother is highly combative instead of being patient and understanding towards Tessa when she goes back and forth with Hardin. If you want your child to listen to you and be safe, antagonizing them is going to do the exact opposite, just as much as coddling them would. And this is just one example. Everyone is angry at each other or estranged in some way. The side characters like Hardin's ex-girlfriend Molly and the rest of their group are very underdeveloped and cliched as well, with Molly just being a typical bitchy mean girl who sleeps around a lot, so it's easy to hate her despite Tessa being the one who knowingly intruded on her relationship, even if Hardin said he didn't date. Speaking of Hardin Scott, and while this is a very silly and petty point and has been brought up a million times, I had no idea who Hero Finn's Tiffin was before watching this, and I thought his accent was fake. I know, but it's like so proper English, you know what I mean? The way both Hardin and Tessa behave throughout is appalling, and this kind of dynamic should not be considered a romantic ideal. Hardin is extremely emotionally unstable, to the point of violence, and his character is what, 17, 18? Imagine what he'd be like as a fully fledged adult. The fact that he goes for Tessa, who falls into the precious untouched flower trope, is very concerning too, because in the beginning of the series, she is shown to be naive and inexperienced. This is the behaviour of someone who could easily become an abuser when they're older. And stop with the whole I can fix you thing. This is a real problem in real life relationships. This should not be portrayed as cute or healthy. Hardin and his friends are clearly meant to be the delinquent type. Hardin's a bad boy, if you will, and in the most childish way possible. Everyone always goes on about piercings, tattoos, etc., but who cares? That's not what makes a bad boy attractive. This trope has been done to death in the past 20 years, and not well either since the media have decided to start adding amateur fanfictions to mainstream literature adaptation. Don't get me wrong, everyone loves a bad boy or girl sometimes, but there's a specific way to do it and do it well. There's nothing wrong with making a love interest a bit intimidating, but there's a line between charmingly intimidating and just being a bad person. There are examples of this being done well across media. One I can think of is Sebastian from the game Stardew Valley. He's very introverted, keeps to himself, he has the edgy alternative appearance, he smokes, he has a motorcycle, he's mysterious, but he's not mean. Once you get to know him though, you realise he's actually a big softie who just happens to be very shy. A more extreme example of this could be Kujo Jotaro from the anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He has the typical anime delinquent appearance. He snaps at his mother, he's brash, breaks rules, etc. He's an angsty teen, that's clear as day. But when he finds his mother is cursed by an old foe of his family, he travels across the world to a completely different landscape and risks his life to save her. Even though he's a bratty teenager, he has the moral foundation to grow up to be a decent person. In fact, when you see him later in part 4 as an adult, he is still aloof and stoic, but has lost his irritability for the most part, although he still gets annoyed by teenage girls. All in all, these films portray, even idealize, some seriously concerning and unhealthy behaviours. Most of the characters are poorly written, and their flaws are more like their entire characterization. While I thought the cinematography was nice, the negative aspects of the film are much more prevalent. I also heard that a fourth film is scheduled to be released.
You thought it was over.
I intend on reviewing that too when it comes out. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching.
Nothing like a polo to ease my mind. With polos by my side, I'll always shine. The blue and green ones are my favorite kind, but I'll eat the colored ones from time to time. Cause polos is life, 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 polos is life. Sleep all night and